Renee Miller, and tonight is a wonderful celebration of day 4 of Ujamaa. And we're going to talk a little bit about how cooperative economics ties into the work that we're doing with the Love Camp. And I see some familiar faces with us today. So we are super fortunate to have us all come together. Just as we begin, I want us to think about um, what cooperative economics is and why is it valuable for us to speak about it. And so, Kim, can you put the main visual on me for me, please, so I can talk to everybody and we are blessed to see me. Kim, are you still there? Hope we didn't
Yes.
lose my producer.
No, no, we are here. We are here.
Okay,
See, okay.
perfect. You look so much like a queen. I love it.
Yes, Tabari Ghani. We've got to celebrate for the
Uh,
season.
I love it. So we want to begin to start off and just talk a little bit about what cooperative economics is, because we're getting ready to have a rich conversation. And as we talk about it, we would add some gravity of the value of this particular principle of Kwanzaa and why it's important as it relates to the work that we're doing. And tonight we're going to share a little bit stories of how Thai tours came together and how the Love Camp came together. Before we jump too much into it, Queen, Kim, did you want to just say anything as a welcome to everyone as well? I'll take that as a yes.
Absolutely. And so
Okay.
yes, yes. And so I just want to say Habari Ghani to the family. We are the amplification. We are the embodiment. You and I, this sisterhood, we are the epitome of cooperative economics. And so I'm proud to sit here beside you on this day because we are not just the principle as an ideal or a great idea, but we are the practice. And so sitting behind all of our participants that are here because they enjoyed their time, the product of our sisterhood in business. It's just a proud day. Beyond the dashikis and the t-shirts that say Ujamaa, beyond the my sister Black Power fist and the adornments on our head, but the practice. You and I sit together on this day, pushing. I mean, the holidays, the busiest time of year. You want to do that with your family, but the fact that we found family in each other and in business. Thank you. I'm honored.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so let's begin talking a little bit about just bringing home the definition of Ujamaa or cooperative economics, because I think it's important for us to first make sure we're on the same page. And all these beautiful people on here with us tonight, I know we are. To be on the same page. So when I think of cooperative economics, I'm thinking of the ability for us to build and create and maintain our own shops, our own stores, our own businesses, to be able to really benefit collectively. And I think that's the important part about what we're getting ready to talk about, how we came together because we are benefiting together, but we're thinking of it as a community ability to benefit and prosper together. And that's the thing that's me excited about tonight's topic and how expansive it is beyond economics and but how it ties into community. So you think we should start off, Kim, and just talk a little bit about how we even got together, because it's important for people to know what's the practical dynamics of cooperative economics and what does it look like when, as you said, two sisters get together and we really do something as powerful as this.
Absolutely. Collective economics, sometimes we see the principles as independent of each other. Like, oh, I think I'm going to embody Ujamaa like we celebrated yesterday, cooperative work and responsibility, or I want to be the embodiment of Ujamaa. collective economics, or Ujamaa, unity. And so we choose a principle, we name ourselves that principle, and we say, I'm going to be the amplification of this. But the truth is that they work in coalition with each other. You can't have collective economics without cooperative work and responsibility. And so I think telling our story, the Teaching Artists Institute, we use art in everything we do. And for us, story is the most important art form. And so they won't understand our definition or how we embody this principle without knowing the story. So I do think that, yes, we should start with the story. So I'll let you take the first chapter.
All right. So what a gift it is when you are invited, and this is alignment, when you are invited to come to the continent on an investment tour, which is what happened. I saw you guys on social media and I was like, oh, I want to go. I see them traveling the continent looking like they're having an intentional but really good time. So fast forward, I go to Tanzania. I invest in many of the opportunities that were there. I invested, I believe, in a couple. And on our way coming back, we were just well, let's do this. During one of the trips in Tanzania, we were actually talking about the state of Black love in the community, in our communities, and people that look like us, particularly Black women. And we were talking about how it's missing, how Black women are the largest single women and the fastest divorce. And we just kind of were talking. And before you knew it, we said, you know what? We need to have something like Kim, you said, we need to have a love camp. But we really didn't think we took it serious. We were just excited about being a solution to a problem that's pretty significant here in this country. And then fast forward, we're on the plane coming back. And that turned into a literal 2 or 3 hour planning session to create and birth the Love Camp and this partnership between Thai Tours and the Love Camp and bringing it to life. So that was kind of the initial, just in concept, just brainstorming, just talking to a reality in less than a year.
Absolutely. But I feel like, I mean, that's the fast forward version. But to me, like the beauty is in the details, it's in the accent. And so I think about the conditions under which that conversation had, because collective economics, it depends on the conditions. Like you need the collective, right? The people have to be in umoja, they have to be in unity. And when I reflect back on that first investment tour, I remember we cast our net wide and far looking for these investors. And when I think about Pan-Africanism and I think about investment on the continent, or really economics in general, it's always a really male dominated sector. When you think about economics, when you think about the banking industry, when you think about Wall Street, when you think about just the business community in general, the face of that has been promoted, especially to our community, as a male dominated space. And so
True.
I have to admit that I was really surprised when we did the marketing for our first Thai tour, our first investment tour. And the only thing that showed up were the sisters, ready, in partnership, ready, looking for their investments on the continent. And so I think I probably was way too comfortable because I was so taken aback by the audience that we entertained. Nothing but the sisters, ready with their bank accounts, well disciplined, with the mindset that there is life outside of America. They were open to newness. I mean, it was incredible. And I think that was the condition. But now the sisters that showed up, they were sisters to each other. And I think that made us more comfortable to have that conversation and be vulnerable. Because let's really talk about the conversation. I mean, this is the Love Camp. I've heard those chats that you and Chad have on your in your
Yes.
WhatsApp group and in your
Yes.
Facebook. So let's be honest about it. Let's not skate over the details. What were we talking about when we were on the bus? I mean, business in our mind was finished. And as tourists, you guys had done everything the itinerary said. We had done, for lack of better words, our job. And it was almost time to go home. And so we were at the point in the journey where we were doing what we wanted to do. We were showing up in vulnerable conversations as owner operators. We were talking
See,
about intellectual property, right? I know people that can't even get to the point where they form a new idea because they so afraid that if they say it above a whisper, that somebody gonna take what they got. Listen, I
see.
know us. I know us. Our organization, we incubate new concepts. So I know how people feel about their creations. It's like Erica Badu, I'm sensitive about my shit, and so
Right.
they don't want to be vulnerable enough to even share not only where they are and what they're feeling, especially when the woman that has the capacity to be an investor, because she's got it together. This kind of sister, she's the one that you see from the outside and you say, my God, she's got the house, she's got the car, she's got the looks, she's got the money. All of the boxes are checked. And so seeing the
She
vulnerability,
doesn't have the love.
yes, that's not something that she brings to the table. She's not running to have a discussion about that. Love, how of all the investments I've made, I'm now at a point in my life where I still feel empty. I don't need you. I do need you. I've been telling myself that I don't need this, or maybe it's been the last box on my list, right? So
Exactly.
I don't want to just skate through the story, because that is, to me, the most remarkable part. The origin of this development. It just highlighted how 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 we have to go through all of those social constructs, break down all those walls to get to two basic things when it comes to collective economics. What do you really want, right? What is really of value to you? And who is really of value? And I feel like in that original conversation in 2021, we did that. And that's not common. And so shout out to Lisa Watford. Yes, sis, because I will always love your sister. Your sister shows up for you. And she was there with you on the investment tour. And she said, guess what? That conversation that y'all are having is not normal. Don't just gloss over it. Two Black owned women businesses that are talking now, not just about newness in a vulnerable space with creative intellectual property, but also the most sensitive part of their identity. Who is the partner I'm going to spend my life with? That part. Why is it missing? And so I think Renee is, wait, did she just drop out? I think Renee just dropped out. That signal. But when she comes back, I'm sure she will agree that being in a space of vulnerability, being open, being honest, not just with the people, but being honest with yourself. That is one of the characteristics, one of the traits of being able to effectively work in collective economics. And so I feel like my sister, she showed up with me. Let me spotlight her video again. Add spotlight. You're back, sis. And I just told them that it was that honesty that got us to this point where we're able to be in this collective economic sisterhood, because you were honest first with yourself, and then you were honest with us. And that kind of vulnerability, it creates the future. We are that Afrofuturism. And most of us lie into ourselves. And that is why we can't break through to find our tribe. And so I've said a lot. I'm going to stop, but I just didn't want you to gloss over that introduction in the story. It's like, wait a minute, that's the best part of the chapter. That's the part that's going to show people how to start. Many people, they can see the full big picture. They can see a million yards, but they don't see how to just plant that first seed. And so it means letting go. It means being honest with yourself and with the tribe that you're with. It means trusting. And that kind of vulnerability is strong. It takes strength. And so, sis, you're the love coach and you're the expert. I'm gonna, like you said, you're the expert in teaching people how to be vulnerable. So you probably brought it out.
Let me say this, beautifully said and powerful, because when you were sharing that, it took me back to that moment we were actually in the van driving through the countryside of Tanzania. I will never forget that. And I remember us talking about how hard it's been and the challenges of finding love. And I do remember us talking about how many of us are educated and smart and beautiful and caring and really wanting to connect, with healthy love and find partners, and we go through so much. And I remember us talking about how much our heart went out to want to do something about it. And so thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for really giving the expansion view of it, the expansive view, because at the end of the day, sometimes we don't realize how powerful our experience was until we're reminded, like, oh, wait, well, yeah,
Yes.
that was really vulnerability, because we had spent days of really connecting and honoring and seeing each other. And so that conversation was just an extension of what we had already started to do collectively and how we were joining together, because the conversations were not your normal conversations. And particularly a lot of times, we don't hear enough sisterhood, particularly in our communities or even Black businesses that want to join together. We have a lot of times we have distrust, we have sometimes dissension, or we just have a little bit of like, I'm gonna give you a little bit of arm's length connection. So,
Give me 50 feet.
exactly. So, I think us walking on this journey, I think was really, to me, I always say it was destiny. I feel like I was where I was supposed to be. You were where you were supposed to be. And then when we were on that plane, having that full business meeting, and it was a done deal by the time we walked off that plane at Dulles Airport, I knew this was what I was called to do. And so I feel like it's good for us to talk a little bit tonight about what it looks like practically. Like, we know now, fast forward 2 years later, the Love Camp is developed and we are getting ready to go back to Ghana. But I feel like before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about, well, what does it look like practically? Like, how are we doing this? What are some of the things you've noticed that we have to make it work so that more of us can have these types of connections and these types of opportunity to do collective economics?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I want to take it back to the other sisters in the room, because even though we're the ones that went into the business sisterhood partnership, um, it was the other sisters in the room that originally, I think, need to be a part of every equation. It shouldn't just be a pair. There need to be, those other eyes that hold you accountable. That accountability is third party, right? And so that accountability is also holding you accountable to implementation, because Lisa was the one that said, that's it. This is not just a conversation. Keep going. You need that cheerleader. And I think that sometimes, because of our fear, like our fears around connection, idea theft, and, we've been hurt in the past, it's those people, those cheerleaders on the sidelines that say, you can do it. Sometimes we underestimate what that does in the vision. And I think that practically, when you are trying to give advice from our own story to somebody else that may be brave enough to partner their newness with someone else, find your cheerleaders. Yes, you got enough people in your life telling it like it is. Oh, girl, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just telling it like it is. But we need some people that can tell it like it can be, that can help you see the vision. You need somebody to be able to imagine near with you. And so when I think about all those cheerleaders right from the beginning, we were destined to be on an accelerated growth timeline, because even from the initial conversation, the Imagineer team was there. They was like, yes, sis, I see it. Oh my God, I can find them at the Love Camp. And these were women that were really like a testament to our situations. They were saying, me too, I can relate. I feel that. So it was almost like proof. They were our case study. They were saying, use me. Like, I'm willing to give that testimonial to say that what you're talking about is necessary and relevant. And, so that kind of bravery, it wasn't just brave for us, because sometimes we know what's right and what's wrong, but people make you think you're crazy when you see something and you say, you know what, what y'all think? And they say, because of their own fear, even if they do see it, girl, that don't really sound like something that I think should be. How we're killing each other's ideas before we even get a chance to fully birth the baby. It's called that gestation
Ashe.
period. that you're
Yeah.
carrying that baby. The baby is in your womb for 9 months for a reason. And so you need to find that umbilical fluid. Is that what it's called? Y'all mamas, that
And
the umbilical fluid,
umbilical cord. Yeah. The
the
fluid.
cord, the
Cord.
fluid.
Hmm.
Yes, around the baby, because that is that protection, and that's found in a person. You, when you have a new idea, right, in a practical way, when you're trying to develop a new business concept and you're looking for your business sheroes or your business heroes, you need to make sure that they are the visionaries that are going to insulate your idea. You need negative Nancy too, but not in the beginning. You don't need her. You don't call that friend. She's not the one. And so when I think about us, it reminds me of that in a very practical way. Find your fluid, that gestation protection, right?
I agree. And I would definitely say not only find your cheerleader, but find that person that's willing to take you by the hand. One of the things that I appreciate about you and I is that we both used our expertise to take each other by the hand and give different observations. Like, obviously, like you say, I have the experience in the coaching and that space, but you've had tremendous experience in the space of doing business in the continent and really creating collaborations and curation like nothing I've ever seen. And so being able to find someone that you respect and admire and create that community and that synergy together. And it turned into many of the people that are on with us today as well. So having that community of expertise and having that community to say, this is what I'm good at. That's what you're good at. How can we synergize and create a collaborative? We don't do that enough. We don't build from what our communities have. And I think we also need to do a really good job at planning. Like, you and I took time to really say, what does this look like? What's the vision of it? How do we plan this out? And it went through multiple iterations, and I think that can be small um things that we do, and it can also be a model for large things if we have the right planning and the right mentality around where we want to go and what we're trying to accomplish, because we also had something that was bigger than we're trying to do a business. And that's what I like about this principle. It was really in an attempt to create connection, community, ease pain, make sure that those that were dealing with some of the things that we were even talking about, we can find some relief in our community. And that's the thing that made me really excited.
And I have to say, first of all, I agree with you 100%. But when I think about our personal relationship, I just want to thank you for respecting, because let me not, it's not that point in the conversation. Listen, you're my big sister in every definition, by every definition of the word. You've been on this planet longer in business. I mean, you've been up the corporate ladder and down, right? In any stretch, by any stretch of the imagination, I would have been your subordinate in the workplace. When it comes to education, when it comes to the training that you've done, you've been a serial entrepreneur. And so when it comes to incubating a business, this has been your wheelhouse. So to allow me, somebody that, I mean, you've done all the heavy lifting for many years. You had the Remember Who You Are project 15 years prior to coming in contact with Ty Torres and Kim Poole. And the fact that you allowed me, somebody whose business has only been in establishment since 2015, to help develop this initiative, to say, no, Renee, let's try again. I need you to connect with this person. I need you to switch around the flyer like that. That is the kind of humility that helps our collective economic system grow. Because I feel like I got some elders out here that we need to talk to today that need to take your class, that need to say, listen, that education and knowledge, God can use anybody to help grow this business. And I see skills and I see services and whatever is necessary for the vision at this time, not only for the vision, but whatever is necessary at this time in my life, being open to that so that you can then reach back and grab years of experience so that you can say, thank you for being my
Yeah.
suck of air, my fresh wind. Sometimes you need that, that fresh breath of air, that because you've just been trying, and it's like you don't know what moment, if not this moment, then the next moment is going to be your synergy. What chemistry is going to take you to the next, and being open to that, I think is so important. And you embodied that kind of humility is what builds the community. And so,
Ashe.
I mean, you
Mm.
allowed us to practice on you. I say it all the time with flowery words. We have art-led consultation, and we do art-led research, and it develops these entrepreneurial ventures. And you allowed us to say, okay, girl, practice on me. What do you got? What are you talking about? Let's see how
Let's
it
do
works.
it.
What do
Yep.
we do? And we tried to use that. And now it has been successful. Now we have
Yeah.
mamas like Mama Ade. She's building out the Eldest Legacy Tour. We need that in our community. And let me tell you, it would not exist had it not been for a Renee Miller allowing us to practice on you. And I think that can be a scary place too when we get into collective economics. It's like, no, girl, you ain't going to practice on me. I don't want to be the first one. I think about
But
it
I think I
because I'm
got it
from
all figured out.
Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, in
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore, they say you don't get famous in Baltimore, even if it's your hometown, until you make it somewhere else. You got to make it over there first, and then we'll all support you. Then we'll get behind you
Exactly.
and say that it works. And I think that's because everybody's afraid in collective economics to be the first. They're afraid to be the practice round because they know what that means when you got to practice with a business. They make practice mistakes. They make new baby mistakes. And you got to be the one to say, all right, girl, we're going to work with you anyway. And so I feel like you showing up to say, yes, we will be the first example of art-led consultation or art-led business development. That to me it's kind of like what we say in music. It takes more skill to be a background singer than it do to be the lead, because you have to learn how to harmonize. You got to learn how to ebb and flow. And I
Mm-hmm.
really felt that working with you. Oh, because like you said, the preparation, it wasn't like we started the conversation in 2021 and then ta-da, now it's 2022 when we have a tour. That was a year or just under a year of, hey, Renee, what we doing? Hey, Kim, we having our session today. So I don't know, maybe we should talk to that, like the consistency, the kind of consistency it takes for us to have collective economics or Ujamaa.
Yeah. I think everything we're saying is what it takes to be able to pour in and do this at this scale and larger. Because what I say is when we find the principles that work in harmony or the actions that work in harmony, that is what creates the results we're looking for. And collective economics to me is such a synergistic process, not only with the other principles of Kwanzaa, but the principles that we're talking about: consistency, humility, um, collaboration and conversation, and really
Trust.
admiration and respect. All of these things that really sometimes get in the way of our communities being able to show this principle in live form at a larger level, because some of these factors are not at play. So I'm mindful of our time, and I want us to talk a little bit about the Love Camp Ghana. I know you have some things you want to share. And also, we feel so blessed to have folks on with us that took the trip with
Yeah.
us, and so I want to get a chance to hear from them. So, how do you feel about collective economics and what we're getting ready to do with the Love Camp Ghana
So
excursion?
for me, Ghana is an opportunity to serve as a symbolic landscape, right? It reminds me of the marketplace. First of all, in Africa, women run the marketplace. You may see men run to the front when it comes to like big initiatives or, like you said, the large scale corporations. But on the grassroots level in the marketplace, it's the mamas. They selling plantains, they pound in the grains, they packaging it up. It's the mamas. And so I feel like um that doesn't stop them from going into their households and still building successful families. They don't see their work in the marketplace as somehow in competition with the role they serve in their household as wives. And so I think that having conversations in Ghana are going to be extremely important, especially to Black women here that have had to be the culture bearers. And as a result, we've seen our men emasculated for generations. And so, we have been attacked by everybody in the media, physically, and our men haven't always been there to protect us. And we secretly and quietly resent them for that. It's like, here I am again being attacked in the media, and some of the Black men are right there on the bandwagon, and so these kind of things over generations have built up. And so we're going to go to Ghana and we're going to learn from that symbolic landscape what it looks like when it's done right, when they didn't lose that part. No, make no mistake, colonization happened on the continent at the same time that we were enslaved. But the emasculation of the men, it happened in a different way. In Ghana, they're a matrilineal society. And so they've always had queen mothers in the Ashanti Kingdom. In the Ga region of Accra, they always had a matrilineal society. The children, they take the last name of the mother, and the wealth transfers through the family, through the mother. And so when they saw the men emasculated, it didn't make them feel unbalanced. It's like, how do we protect? Yah Santawa said, listen, if y'all won't fight, we will go and fight. The men up against the British, they said, listen, y'all, we're not going to be able to win this war. So we're going to surrender on behalf of the Ashanti people. And Yah Santawa said, not today. And nobody challenged that, because in their society, queen mothers were already established as a component. And in Ghana, the wife of the king is not the queen. Just because you're the wife of the king, or what they call in Ghana the hene, that doesn't make you the queen. The queen mother in Ghana is usually the auntie or the older sister. And so I think it brings into focus what we call collective economics, because it means that in your business endeavor, you might need a woman in leadership that supports you like a wife does, that helps to guide this business vision. And we need women at home that aren't intimidated by that. It's like, listen, we said that's his work wife. It don't mean they having sex. It don't mean, listen, that is his sister. That's his auntie. She's the queen mother in that business. She's the one helping him roll out the vision. And that doesn't threaten your wife's status. And so because we've adopted a European context on what marriage is and what family is, Ghana is going to help us set straight some of those narratives. And we're going to have a little bit of fun doing it too. I don't know if you want to talk about some of the things that happen in Love Camp Tanzania, or maybe we would let some of our guests that actually participated do that. I don't know.
I
see.
would love that. We got two beautiful guests with us. And I just want to say this real quick in reference to what you said. I absolutely love and am excited about us going over to Ghana to have this conversation and to have the experience, because one of the things that we see and we're working to minimize and hopefully completely obliterate is the divisiveness that exists between our Black men and our women. The love that does not exist at the level that we know is possible. And a lot of that has to do with historical trauma. It has to do with the ideologies we've taken on, the narratives, the beliefs, all of the things that we have that we use against each other, and we're not showing up as the love that we are. And so us being able to go and see other cultures and look at and dissect what part of those best practices can we use, what part of how we show up is not a walking example of love, what part of who we are needs to be healed. And so that's one of the things that I'm excited about, but doing it in such a way that everything is curated and incorporated in such a way where you feel the experience. And so I would love to hear from Olamina, and then I want to hear from Norma, because I want to hear your experience. What was Tanzania like with you when we incorporated the activities along with the topics at hand? If you could just speak a little bit about that. And I
Well,
would love
first
for
of
you to introduce yourself just briefly.
First of all, greetings, everyone. It is wonderful to see everyone, be a part of the Zoom meeting. I'm excited about you all's next love camp in Ghana, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more information about it. My name is Olamina Stevenson, and I am a author, uh, community service activist, love coach, and entrepreneur, and just do stuff. But thankfully, the Love Camp Tanzania was an eye-opening, uh, deeply rich, and honest discovery, self-discovery, into learning more about about self-love and how to love the other people in our lives. And Sister Renee did an excellent job leading us on a journey of understanding the depths of love and what it meant, how it looks, and I can't say enough about how it helped me personally in my love ship. And so I'm just looking forward to continuing to be a part and adding what small pebbles I can in the journey and the work that you both are doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Olamina. Love it. Okay, Miss Norma.
Hi, everybody. Um,
Hi.
I'm Norma Stanley, like Alamina, do a lot of things, but primarily, I'm an author and speaker and a disability community advocate. And, I'm a senior citizen as of tomorrow, but, I am, one of my best memories actually is taking part in the Love Camp. That was 2 years ago. I can't believe it was 2 years
I
ago.
know. I'm like, what? Is it really 2 years
Yeah,
ago?
it's amazing. But it was, I just absolutely still love that whole concept. I thought it was one of the best ways for me to go and see Africa for the first time with total strangers. I didn't know anybody. But once I got to know everybody who participated, it felt like family. And it was a beautiful event. The instruction that we got, everything, the way you two merged your expertise, I thought truly was a work of art. I highly respect what you guys do individually and collectively, and it made it a beautiful trip for me, considering I had never been to Africa before, and I was terrified. But I was, all those fears within that first day or two were gone. um, and I learned so much about myself as someone who, was a widow and didn't have a whole lot of love relationships in my life, but learned about myself in, whatever opportunities there may be in the future to engage in that. And how I can help some of the younger women who, are going through, the love coach, all the things that you guys were teaching for the ones who were becoming love coaches. And as we observed those lessons that they were learning and how well that they, executed some of the lessons they learned, during the whole process. And every day was, a great melding of the activities and the instruction. And you just, they were long days, but they were power packed. And I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel tired till I got back. then I felt it. But it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I tell everybody to this day, if you get a chance to do a love camp, you need to do it. So I'm looking forward to learning more about Ghana, because that was one of the countries I wanted to go to. So that'd be great to be able to participate through the love camp experience and see how that might happen. So I'm believing God, and I hope the schedules can work it out, but that would be really cool.
Well, thank you so much, Norma. Thank you, Norma and Olamina. You guys were such blessings for us when we were there. It was like literally my pleasure and my honor. And there would be days that I would just tear up from watching not only the insight and the growth, but just the shifts and the connection that we all had. And there would be times that I would say, there's nothing more that I would want to do than what I'm doing right now on this trip. And so it really was an honor for me. And it's still an honor to do this work.
And I just want to echo that, Renee, because in tourism, trust me, people give you their funky behind to kiss. It's like, oh, you are my servant, so you need to pick up my dirty drawers. I mean, bring me my fluffy slippers. I say that to say you don't love all your clients. You do your job, you do it to the best of your ability. And as a owner operator, I get to choose when I'm there and when I have curators that do exactly what you paid for. And me being there myself, I loved being in company with you all. And we need to learn that in our business. And because we've learned from Europeans their business ways, how they treat each other in exchange, but we don't exchange that way. It's an honor to support a Black business. It's also an honor to give a service to your brother and sisters. And so bringing that to the exchange as we trade and barter in the marketplace is so essential for collective economics, because sometimes, we want a deal, we want a discount from our brother and sister, we want the hookup, then we also give them the fluffy slippers, clean my dirty drawers treatment. So you want to pay less and get more. And so I think that when I think of both of you, I just think of, man, I wish all of my customers, like I want all of my customers to be like a Olamina, to be like Miss Norma, that say when I get back, I love that so much, I got to tell other people about it. Like we want those kind of customers. And I think that there's a responsibility of the customer too, when you show up to this business marketplace with the mindset and with the spirit of Ujamaa. And so I think we should remember that. And you guys remind us of that today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you. It was a blessing to see Ujamaa in action when we were at the Love Camp. And it was a beautiful thing. So I look forward to learning more and participating as often as I can. I have people who I know want to be a part of it too. So we're just hoping the schedules and everything else align, but definitely Ghana sounds pretty exciting.
Nice.
All right, so I'm going to be the minister of time right now. We got can we take about 8 minutes to do our best to close out and talk a little bit about what the dates and the specifics are, and then tell us a little bit about Tanzania. Tell us a little. I was gonna say Tanzania. Tell us a little bit about Thai tour. So first, let's close out the Love Camp Ghana in terms of dates. So we haven't released the dates yet. So this will be our first time, October 3rd through the 13th of 2024. We have 3 different ways that you can join us. One of them is where you come in as a love ambassador. And that is you come in because you love making a difference and you want to share it with folks. And you get a significant discount if you are able to bring 3 folks with you. And that comes in at $4,500. And that is airfare, accommodations, 2 meals a day, activities. I mean, it's a full experience, as you know. And then, of course, we have you come in as a lover of travel and love. And that means you come in and take in the food, the culture, the activities, the curriculum, and you come in and basically enjoy yourself as a tourist who is learning about love. And then last, like Olamina did 2 years ago, you can come in as someone who is looking to be a love coach. So you will come in seeking to be certified as a love coach. And that is $7,600. And that is everything. So that is the tour, the experience, but it's also pre-work where you're learning the concepts of coaching. You're getting the scenarios, the case study. So you're doing some pre-work with us for about 5 to 6 weeks before we leave. And then when we're there, you are getting certified because you're learning to put what you've learned in action. So that is the 3 different ways that you can join us. We're super excited about all 3 because we've had someone come with us in all 3 ways and they've all been satisfied. So the other thing is with the Love Camp Ghana experience, it is experience in 4 regions of Ghana. So sometimes you go to a country and it takes you around just in that local area. But one of the things I love about Thai Tours is we're going to be on planes, trains, boats, ferries. Like we're going to experience a true cultural immersion of that area or that country. So that's one of the things that I get excited about. But if you like to learn what love is and understand the principles and the practices with people that value having the discussions and strengthening their love language and strengthening what love is to them and strengthening where they know they need to improve and doing it amongst a safe space that has activities that are curated specifically around the environment, the topic for that day, and we move through seasons, then definitely join us.
And I'll just say that our work as an organization, we're not just doing tourism for the sake of tourism. We don't just show up to the country when it's time to do your tour. So the reason our company is different, it's unique. Our secret is our curators. We work with our curators all year long. Kwanzaa is our 365. We're looking to operationalize Pan-Africanism. And that means figuring out how to get back and forth, how to move people and goods and services between global African regions. And this is the work that we're trying to do, whether you are with us on this tour or not. And so the relationship that we have as an organization with the symbolic landscape is very different. And Ghana was first. And so we've been working with these people since 2012. When I think about all the new experiences, the new tours that you can go to Ghana with, I'm excited that the population is growing. It's a beautiful thing. And we were there for the growth. We know the mamas and the babas. They watched us grow. They were the oil in our engine when we were trying to figure it out. And now some of those young curators, they're married themselves with babies. And they're going to be a part of the Love Camp, telling their stories and talking about their culture behind the scenes. And so I'm just excited to show you guys that we got access. We got exclusivity in Ghana. It's not just go to the place, pay your entrance fee, and get inside. We can take you into places that even local people can't go into because you have to be invited. And so I like that we're able to tailor those unique experiences in Ghana, and I can't wait. Contact Renee, because she's got all the details. And if you're watching today because you know about Thai Tours, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/teaching artists, or facebook.com/Thai Tours 1. TAITOURS, the number 1. We're looking forward to your inbox messages, and we'll see you at the interest meeting.
Bye.
Renee, are you frozen over there? I think you might be frozen. Let's see.
Am I frozen?
Sam, you are. It's like, you're frozen. Okay. So I'm sure she's probably giving you her contact information or how to contact her. TheLoveCamp.co is her website. And we're so proud of her website. It's an incredible site. Please check it out. She's got helpful tools on there. She's got checklists for love, the love you want. She's the love coach, and she does it alongside her team of love coaches. And so we look forward to seeing you guys, Habari Ghani, this Kwanzaa season. And today's principle is Ujamaa, collective economics. So thank you, Renee, for being my business sister today and an example of our success together. And Mama Norma and Baba Olamina, thank you so much for being examples of what a client should be when they embody the spirit of Ujamaa. And so we'll see you guys next time. I'm going to end now. Thank you all for tuning in.